This meeting is being recorded.
I'm excited to introduce everyone to Lori, who's going to be with us and to share with us how we can become a little less reactive to the market, I believe, and much more proactive, especially as it goes to client work and account work and so forth. So, Lori, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this team. Really looking forward to it.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about your firm and where your focus is.
Okay, sure. Well, I was an agency lover and I thought lifer until just a couple of years ago when after a career mostly in accounting, eventually I, was kicked upstairs and began to lead a new business for quite some time. But I always maintained some key client relationships because I thought it helped me to stay sharp and, really understand how the agency was functioning. So, what I had started to observe over time was a bit of a slide backwards for my beloved discipline of account management. And we did that to them. We did too much work in this do more with less mandate. And eventually, we forgot, I think, as an industry, what, a really well developed and supported account group can do in terms of driving real value beyond project execution. And once I got that in my head, I began to look around and I realized there really are scant few resources out there for account groups. And I couldn't get it out of my head. And I eventually stepped away from day-to-day agency life to move into more of a partner and advisor role, really focusing on what you described, Andrew, helping develop account teams from passive cost centers into proactive leaders of growth. So that's my new focus, and I'm really enjoying it. And so far, the itself has really responded. They love getting some love. We haven't given this group enough love in the last 10 to 15 years, and so I'm excited to be a part of that. What I hope becomes a movement.
Do you think, we'll get into this in great detail, I'm sure, in Santa Fe, but do you think that change over the last 10 years, or maybe where we're at right now, is because agency work has potentially become much more strategic and less sort of order taking, if you will, or at least a successful agency is one that is very proactive and really asking for and demanding a seat at the table?
Well, that is true in really great agencies, but I did do my homework, Andrew. When I began, I started out by fielding a study that was, and my sample consisted of mostly small and independent agencies, so it was very targeted. And the response was pretty overwhelming in terms of account management in general. Okay, everything I'm saying in general is not as proactive in the area of strategy and creative development. So again, it's become about managing tasks, and we need to be able to give them the space, to dig into the client's business and be, equally as proactive as they are in managing our workflow, but in their ability to look forward, see opportunities, help drive growth and also creativity.
Well, so I know that you care so much about this that you wrote a book about it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It came out of an insight from the research, which was about, what I was just talking about, the desire from agencies to see more proactivity from their account teams. And so I went and did a little bit of research on proactivity, and pretty quickly the notion of human agency jumped out at me. And it was just really fascinating because, we talk a lot about agency. Usually we're referring to our team, or maybe it's the buildings that houses the office, but rarely do we ever talk about human agency, which is that ability to think critically, right? To take initiative and be able to know what to do without being told what to do. And that became the hook for this book. And the reaction has been really great. I'm excited to share that I will have copies for everybody at the summit in Santa Fe. So yeah, that's the latest and greatest for me.
Well, speaking of latest and greatest, we have, I think, 20 days until we're all together, something like that. And maybe give a few things that I know that you're probably still putting fine points on a presentation and discussion. There are a few things that are top of mind that you think the attendees, our 10 members, will get out of a particular session.
Well, I'm going to unpack this perception gap that exists. This is one of the things that again came out of my research. Unfortunately, there's a very significant gap in perceived contribution of the account team. The account team is far more favorable, and to some degree that's human nature, but the gap between what they think they're contributing and what the rest of the agency thinks they're contributing is far too great. We've got to figure out, what is that issue? Is it a lack of transparency? Have we been unclear in our expectations? So really making sure that everybody understands at a very clear level what's expected. And out of book, I've developed 4 key building blocks of proactive client leadership. And so we're going to workshop what those things really are